Albert Hammond. Good evening from New York, where Gibraltarian Albert Hammond was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. In the heart of Broadway, a star-studded show celebrated the work of some of the greatest songwriters of our time. It's exactly 40 years since Albert Hammond's first hit, Little Arrows. And what better way to celebrate an anniversary like this than with an induction into none other than the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So from choir boy to the red carpet. And as he arrived for the awards ceremony, it was all smiles from a man who receives recognition for being one of the best.
Feeling nervous, excited, passionate. I have all kinds of feelings, you know.
I'm very proud of him, very happy for him. He deserves this award for a long time. Great achievement.
It was the Marriott Marquis Broadway Lounge in the heart of New York that hosted the event. And after the red carpet, cocktail drinks and dinner, it was time to get the show on the road. Albert Hammond will be sharing the night with 8 other inductees and award winners.
It's a very proud day for Gibraltar. You've seen for yourself just what a major event it is, as well as being a huge honor and privilege for him. I think it's wonderful for Gibraltar to be associated. Here we are in New York, just off in Times Square, in one of the glitziest events of the songwriting music world, and it's to honor a Gibraltarian that has reached the highest echelons of his career, and I think it's a moment that the whole of Gibraltar can and should be proud of.
I'm really proud of him. He deserves everything he gets, so I'm really happy for him.
As a musician yourself, what sort of an achievement do you think this is for him?
I think it's the ultimate achievement to be, you know, admired by your peers, to be, you know, given an award by people who do the same thing as you, you know.
So it makes you feel like you're like, wow, I made it, you know. I suppose like such a major thing.
Well, tonight is particularly thrilling because we've got some great honorees, Albert Hammond in particular. This is Gibraltar. And Albert is not only my good friend, he collaborated with me as a writer. I think he's one of the most talented writers. And we're giving awards tonight to, you know, Paul Anka, Anne Murray, to Desmond Child, and Albert Hammond, Alan Menken. It's just an exciting, thrilling night. Everyone is a star.
I think it's a huge compliment. You know, you write and it's based upon feelings and pressing buttons of human beings, touching emotions. I think the inductees are feeling that they've arrived at a very special passage in their life, you know, and I think it's a great honor for all of them because you're being really recognized by people who really do what you do as a craft, and I think it's a very enlightening moment for them. Yeah.
I don't know much about Albert. I certainly know his songs, but I've never met him, and I'm looking forward to that tonight. I have recorded one of his songs, and actually there are 6 songwriters here whose songs I have recorded.
Albert Hammond, I was the engineer back then and did work with him, and I remember reading about Gibraltar because I'd never been there, but it's an island and a place that everybody's talked about. Didn't have a large population, and I think Albert was one of the early ones to explode that came out of there, and he's a real amazing pop star.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great privilege to welcome you once again to our annual Songwriters Hall of Fame induction and awards ceremony.
And the Albert Hammond section would kick off with a song that made Julio Iglesias a superstar, To All the Girls I've Loved Before. It was performed by rising country star Blake Shelton.
To all the girls I've loved before, who've traveled in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before, to all the girls that I caressed. And may I say I've held the best for helping me to grow. I owe a lot, I know, to all the girls I've loved before. Winds of change are always blowing, and even though I try to stay, the winds of change just keep on blowing, and they just carry me away. To all the girls who've shared my life, who now are someone else's wife, they live inside my heart. I'll always be a part of all the girls I've loved before. Winds of change are always blowing, and even though I try to stay, the winds of change just keep on blowing, and they just carry me away. To all the girls I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before.
Albert Hammond, I mean, my God, to all the girls I loved before. I think I was born knowing that song. That song is such a huge hit that I can remember from the time I was 3 and 4 years old walking around singing the Willie Nelson version of that song and not even knowing what I was singing about. Just loved the song, and so to get to be able to perform it tonight for Albert is very special to me, but more than anything, I'm just glad that he's been honored and recognized.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's...
The Chief Minister then took to the stage to introduce Albert Hammond, from frontline politics to showbiz presenter.
Into the Hall of Fame in this great city is certainly a novelty. Now, we politicians, given a microphone and a hall full of people, tend to go on a bit, but don't worry, because as that famous British King Henry VIII used to say to his 6 wives, I shan't keep you long. Albert and I both come from a very small country in the Mediterranean called Gibraltar. And one of the anecdotes that I'm sure you've all been wanting to know for a long time about Gibraltar is that it was the only part of continental Europe that remained in Allied hands throughout the entire Second World War. Now, what might be the relevance of this to this evening's proceedings, you might ask yourself? Well, it has an important relevance, because for that reason, all women and children were evacuated from Gibraltar during the war, including one Mrs. Hammond. They were evacuated for their safety to London. A real contradiction in terms, you might ask, you might say to yourselves, to be evacuated to London during the Blitz, during the Second World War. But anyway, this is the fate that befell Mrs. Hammond, and happily for us all, falling bombs were not enough to prevent the birth in that city, in those circumstances, of one Albert Hammond.
Mr. Caruana, who said this was an important moment for Gibraltar, listed success after success for Albert Hammond.
Beginning with It Never Rains in Southern California, which as I say, he co-wrote with Mike Hazelwood. It shot to number 5 in the charts and sold 1 million copies. The hits kept coming with Down by the River, Free Electric Band, I'm a Train. When the Hollies recorded Albert's and Mike's The Air That I Breathe in 1974, it became a smash hit hitting number 2 in the United Kingdom and number 6 in the United States. In 1975, Albert teamed up with legendary producer Phil Ramone and master songwriter Hal David for his album 99 Miles from LA. It contained his and David's To All the Girls I've Loved Before, which became a juggernaut in 1984 for Willie Nelson and Julio Iglesias. We in Gibraltar are very, very proud of him. He is our most famous son. We are proud of the heights to which he has risen. We are proud of the courage and dogged determination and persistence that he has shown in getting to where he has got. He has been a success in Spain. He has been a success in the United Kingdom. He has been a success in the United States and in Latin America. He is hugely, hugely talented. He is no less passionate, and he is no less a team worker with his fellow artists.